friends, and welcome to the Revive Anime and Games that is the Taisen Zone. Last time I talked about the first game in the Super Robot Taisen Z series for the PSP, the Saisei-hen. And while I didn't give it a perfect score, I do think it's well worth the purchase, especially at its current price. I managed to find this one in Akihabara for about 1,000 yen used. Also, you'll want to have a completed save file on your Memory Stick Dual Pro because for today's game, if you have one, you'll get certain bonuses. And that game being the Saisei-hen. Now, for this review, I will have to condense a lot because I am going to tread a lot of similar territory that I've already covered in the last two games. So for that, I do suggest you go check out my previous reviews for the Super Robot Taisen Z games. But otherwise, let's just get right into it with Super Robot Taisen Z2 Saisei-hen. Since the game uses the same graphics engine that they've been using for the last two games, I don't think I have to say a lot other than, yeah, it still looks really damn good. I will say that the new attacks for the Machine Guard Z, Shingeta Robo, and Drone Logon all capture the epicness of their respective shows perfectly. Also, while Noah was a pretty forgettable jam project song in my opinion, Hagane no Resistance more than covers the awesome song quotient for both games in my opinion. Seriously, go look up this song and put it on your iPod. And while this might be a minor point for some, I love how they got certain voice actors to record new lines for when their characters interact with characters from outside their own anime. For instance, Midori Hikaru, who is a huge fan of the SRT games, recorded a ton of new lines for Hiro Yui in which he just has Hiro say, "Target." And so on and so forth. Though I personally love Callan's new lines, especially when she verbally abuses Gundam 00's A-Laws. And speaking of 00, they have Ribbon's Allmark reference the fact that he's voiced by Amuro Ray's actor by having him openly insult all of the UC Gundam pilots, especially Amuro himself. Amuro Ray, kimi hodo no new type demo boku ni wa katenai. Yeah, I just appreciate little touches like this. Ribbons, omae to ore wa chigau. The series roster here also hasn't changed much. Not counting sequels to previously introduced series in this line, only two new series have been introduced. The first being Macross 7, which, while new to the Z series, has been in other Super Robot Taisen games like D and the previously reviewed Alpha 3. Still, I enjoy having them in my group, and here Basara is probably one of the best units in game to the point of being a possible game breaker. As for the other series, it's supposed to be another retro anime. Oh what, is it going to be some lesser known toy anime again, or... Oh my god. That's... Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh! Taisen 28? The grandfather of all Super Robot anime? Alright, sorry for that fangasm, but that's Taisen 28! The titular machine of the very first giant robot anime! The robot who got a full-scale statue in Kobe even before Odaiba's Gundam statue. And surprise, surprise, it's one of the better units in this game, being a combat medic who can bring the muscle as well as heal allies. You know what, just adding him to the roster is more than enough to cover the new series quotient for this game. Keep it up, Z, keep it up. Last time I talked more about Crow's storyline than about the storylines of everyone else in this game. That's mostly because in the Saisei-hen, all of the series that were introduced in that game only had about half of their respective anime covered, and as a result, it didn't give them a lot of focus. It's the unfortunate curse of being the middle part of any sort of trilogy. Though for this one, the game pulls off the reverse of the previous game by shifting focus off of the Banpresto original characters onto the third-party anime. Crow doesn't appear in his own game until stage 15, and the heroes of the first Z game are sidelined for most of this one. I honestly didn't mind it that much. Crow still gets proper development in this game and finally gets an upgrade for the Prasta, which the player could actually choose between getting a Super Robot upgrade or a Real Robot upgrade, and both look awesome, by the way. Meanwhile, the storylines of most of the other series receive proper resolution, which does sort of justify why there are so few new series introduced in this game, because there are already about a million things going on in this one. Though I don't mean that in a bad way at all, because quite frankly, the game handles the resolutions for these series very well, and in one case arguably even better than the original anime. Yeah, much like Evangelion and Madoka, Banpresto has yet again fixed the ending to a certain anime, and that is of course
Gurren Lagans.
I should have figured that would be a lead-in line for you to come in. Okay, Anti-Man, let me tell you one thing. Where the hell is your arm?
Oh, we lost it in a great battle. Yeah, that's it. We ran into some aliens who were really hairy and kind of looked like a certain mammal on your planet.
Bears?
Yeah, that's it. Evil alien bears.
So they just broke off your whole arm?
What? No, they just sprang in an arm wrestling contest. Or rather, grand battle. And we decided the easiest thing would be just to take the whole thing off and have it fixed. What, does it look weird? We do these kind of repairs all the time.
No, of course not.
Anyway, you said the game fixes up a certain anime ending. Of course, you must mean that ending to Gurren Lagans. I mean, after all, there's no way Spirals could have taken down an alternate universe version of ourselves.
Well...
Oh no. Don't tell us.
I was going to say they fixed up Code Geass's ending.
Oh, come on! Don't tell us they let the Spirals win again!
Actually, no one won.
Huh?
Yeah, when I said most of the series, Gurren Lagann was actually that most part in that they were probably the only series that actually didn't get a lot of resolution.
Wait. We are in this game, aren't we?
You are, but spoilers here, by the way. You guys kind of leave before the end of the game and before anything beyond the arc Gurren Lagann is introduced.
Really? So, the anti-Spirals of that universe call it quits even before the Super Galaxy was introduced?
Yeah, I'll admit, this is more really bad sequel baiting in my book.
Damn it! You know what? We're gonna have a word with those lazy versions of ourselves in that universe.
Have a safe trip, I guess. That's it, I'm getting you locks. Anyway, as I was saying, if you make the right choices, you do gain the option to play through what is called the sexist route of this game, where they fix the ending to Code Geass. In it, they correct the most face-palming moment in that series. Now, for those who have seen the latter half of the second season, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. For those who haven't seen it, let's just say it's a twist almost as bad as what happened in the latter half of the second season of Valkyrie the Liberator, though not quite as moronic. Amazing how mecha anime always seem to try to pull off this kind of crap near the end. Hopefully they'll fix that ending too should Valkyrie ever join the SRT roster. But I digress. Much like the true ending to Madoka Portable, I like this ending for one main reason.
Just this once! Everybody lives!
Also, awesome scene of Callan punching Lelouch a la Kamina.
Let's see you grit those teeth!
Do I even need to elaborate why that alone makes this game well worth the price of admission? While the mechanics of this game have been left relatively untouched since the last game, The difficulty curve has been balanced out, thankfully. Yeah, a major weakness of this series up until now has been its uneven difficulty. Sometimes it was a cakewalk, other times there was a very frustrating battle system. Sometimes there were enemies who did next to no damage, other times there were some freaking dimensional beasts. It's been all pretty screwy. Thankfully in this game though, the dimensional beasts who you face early on in the game have been greatly powered down. Sure, by the end you're facing beasts who are much stronger than all of the previous incarnations, but that's the point. As I said to the Anti-Man in the last review, the bad guys should become progressively stronger over time. The game shouldn't be pulling out its big guns like they did in the previous 2 games, but instead naturally lead you into bigger challenges and grander scale battles. That way, when the player overcomes these challenges, they can get a greater sense that both they and their characters have become much stronger as the games have progressed. Speaking of which, my complaints about a few characters being too weak have been addressed. Characters like the Gundam Wing and 00 pilots have gotten their awesome mid-season upgrades to their respective machines. Meanwhile, Callan, who while I'll admit is my favorite Code Geass character, I didn't use much in the last game because she didn't have the best machine. Here though, she joins the game early and quickly becomes the Matai Ryuko of my group, especially after she gets her upgrades. While it doesn't feel quite as grand as say Alpha 3 standards, this is still some very well put together action. You know, I would have been satisfied if this had been the final game in this line. I know they're going to release 2 more games on the PS3 and Vita, and believe me, I've got mine pre-ordered already. But still after this game, I feel like they should have just started up a new line, because it's going to be hard to top the ending to this game. Though all that said, I did have a fantastic time and do have to give this game 5 roaring robots out of 5.
Contractual obligation, they say. Geez, you'd think if they were us, they'd be smart enough to read the fine print! Though in the end, it can't be helped.
Oh really? Why can't it be helped?
Well, they signed the contract after all. An absolute rule we anti-spirals follow is that we keep promises no matter what.
This coming from the race that sealed the fates of countless worlds.
Say what you want, but we never... Wait. Who? Maybe not having a left arm is affecting our higher brain function. Better go reattach it.
Oh, how disappointing. These anti-spiral guys are actually pretty boring overall.
Perhaps it's about time that I started shaking things up a little bit.